2,000 years ago, we go to the land of pagan Rome, the Rome of St. John's time. John was exiled to Patmos because the emperor wanted to be worshipped as God. John refused to bow the knee to the emperor. He's almost 100 years of age, and for his trouble, he's now sent to the island of Patmos. The Christian church was struggling. It didn't conquer the then-known world at all. Most of the empire was pagan, and it took centuries before Christianity would ever reach power in ancient pagan Rome. And so the clash of ideas in ancient Rome, on Capitol Hill in ancient Rome, there was a prophecy, a very ancient prophecy going back hundreds of years before Christ. And the prophecy said that on this particular hill at the Temple of Saturn, one day the world would indeed be ruled. And this ancient prophecy from outside the Bible times, funnily enough, proved quite true when you look at the history of the past 2,000 years. There it is, Capitol Hill. From ancient times, the prophecy that this hill would one day rule the world. What happened? Well, when the pagan empire was starting to collapse, Constantine, a pagan emperor, marched across this particular bridge, the Milvian Bridge in Rome. And as he marched across the Tiber River, he thought he saw the Christian cross in the sky. He built a triumphal arch, Constantine's Arch, and he decided that the entire empire, although it was only 1/3 Christian, that it should be entirely Christian. Why? Well, it would bring peace to the empire, peace to his subjects. People would be free to be able to believe what they want, and no longer would there be persecution. I think that God was behind what Constantine was trying to do, which was to bring freedom and peace for people to decide for themselves without persecution what they believe. The Christian Church's answer, though, was to end up creating the same despotic rule that it had tried to avoid and escape. And you go to the Vatican and you explore the history and the times of the popes, and you think about those that have died and gone before, many of them holy men, wonderful men, but the mix of church and state, when they began to get everybody believe the way that they should believe, it didn't create peace and harmony through Europe in the medieval ages. Instead, terrible things happened. Hundreds of years ago, it was Monty Python territory. It was truly bad news. How did this great medieval, dark ages period end? You know, they said that the world was flat, and if you believed the world was round, you'd be persecuted. How was it that this changed? The French, and this is their French embassy from 200 years ago in the time of the French Revolution, the French sent their general, Berthier, to Rome, and that's where he went inside the Vatican, a very dark time for the papacy. He took the Pope, he took the ring off the Pope's finger, and he took the Pope to France, and there Pope Pius VI was exiled, just like John on Patmos Island 2,000 years ago. But Pope Pius VI is taken to Valence, to the fortress at the top of this particular hill in the modern city of Valence. And there the 82-year-old Pope, in the year 1799, sad, depressed, sick, it seemed as if Christianity itself was killed by the French Revolution. The nations watching were amazed, they were astounded. And this was the beginning of the Age of Reason. It's the famous song that John Farnham sings, the Age of Reason. This was the beginning of the Age of Light, the Age of Science, when no longer again would religion control the beliefs of people. Instead, all could be free to believe whatever they wanted, whether it's Christian or scientific.
The 82-year-old Pope was broken with fatigue and sorrow. He died here a few weeks later, July 1799.
Yeah, I was pretty puffed out after climbing that hill, I'll tell you. But to just go to the place where Pope Pius VI, he lost his life in the city of France, and it looked as if Christianity was dead.